Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Cheers.
Round number 3 of the Australian Formula Ford Racing Group E Series. It is time to release these little guys on the home of horsepower in Australia. Sandown International Motors Raceway out of Springvale, Victoria, plays host to round number 3. And look, we're about to release them on fixed setup races. Ultimately, sometimes they get a bit of a knock in real life, but in the sim, can they prove that they are much cleaner? Thus far throughout the championship, that first race was phenomenal, Dave Roberts. I've been licking my lips to get there. Unfortunately, wasn't available last week. What did I miss?
We missed you. You didn't miss much. But you did miss a bit. It was a pretty good race again, just like the first round. Really, really tough. This here, and it was on neutral ground in Oschersleben, but Damon Woods in Pro came out and did it again. Ben Roberts came out in Sport and did it again. Tonight, I'm hoping somebody's going to take it to both of those guys, and I reckon that might happen. But here at Sandown, we're back in Australia, back in Australia's home of Formula Ford. I call it, it's probably held more Driver to Europe and Australian Championship, Formula Ford Championship rounds than any other circuit in the country. So it really is the traditional home of Formula Ford in Australia.
Yeah, and that is where it is, located around the outside of the horse race, where you can see the remnants of the older layout that hasn't been used since 2001. Now it's a lot shorter. It doesn't have some of the tricky twisty bits that used to intersect with just portions of the old horse racing track, but it does provide phenomenal racing, and like you said, a cultural home of Formula Ford racing in Victoria. If you haven't been to Sandown, it's worth the visit. Unfortunately, you can see all of those housing developments just outside the track, unfortunately starting to encroach on one of the last close to the city bastions of racing, and you just wonder over time if not. That's the old layout, by the way, that didn't go down the hill at the top of Dandenong Road. It used to wind its way alongside the horse racing track, and that is the current layout that we use today. The curbs tonight here, Dave Roberts, I reckon they're going to throw a little bit of a surprise, because you can touch some of them, but you can't touch all of them. And knowing when to use the curbs and when not to use the curbs is key to being good in this series.
Yeah, the curbs are big here too, but you can use them, and you have to use them to do a really quick lap. You'll see as they go down to Dandenong Road, everybody uses the left-hand, the right-hand curb in the middle of the sort of sweep down to Dandenong Road, and they use a huge amount, but it can be really off-putting at the same time. It can upset the car, it'll lock a brake. There's not a lot of runoff here. In most places, the Armco is very, very close to the outside of the circuit. So, yeah, they're going to behave themselves, be aggressive, but with restraint.
What have you done? Have you pulled the commentator's curse? Have you just cursed the nice to safety car? Well, that's up to the drivers to decide. Will they manage to find some pace? I can tell you, I was cutting some laps around here as well. I'm disappointed. I said the first night I was actually in the commentary box for this series, Dave. I do really, really love driving the Formula Ford. I would have been out there in ninth spot on the grid, so I'm a little bit disappointed.
So that makes you eighth loser, is that right?
Not good enough for a race win. That's all that needs to be said. In the meantime, though, Ben Roberts, unfortunately not qualifying for Pro Split, and the reasons behind that, he said, look, I'm just not able to make every single race, but I wanted to stay in the action and having some fun. He leads the way here from the Sport Drivers standing. Ian Zhu, one of the Vermilion Motorsports drivers, up alongside of Tyson Hanma. Right now, those two are second and third in terms of the sports standings, and that's the fixed class settings. Mitchell Alberts had a reasonable couple of races, as well as Gustavo Cirillo. He looked really, really strong all the way back at Winton. Steve Corder, Ross Hansen, Brett McBurney, Jackson Austin, and Nathan Favero. 11 points all the way back down in 10th position. Picking up points when you can is going to be critical as this series reigns on. I tell you what, qualifying has now been run and done. It is in the books. And once again, Benjamin Roberts leads the way, puts it on pole position by nearly 0.3 of a second, 2 3/4 tenths to Brett McBurney, who will be off alongside of him on his outside. Daniel McCrowan and Timothy Harris are going to run up on row number 2, or make it row number 3, where it'll be Aidan Schweikert. Good to see the youngster back in action. Tyson Hanma, the driver that sits in third in the championship. A lot of opportunity for him here tonight. Geordie Slater and Steve Cordes, 7th and 8th on the grid before we'll round out your top 10 with Ross Hansen and the driver that sits second in the championship alongside of him, Ian Zhu. Michael S. Cullen in 11th and Steve Harvey out of 12th. Mark Bowman and Dean Williams are going to make up row number 7. On row number 8, Jason Depp and Nathan Verney. Nathan Favero and Ashley Cutchley are going to be on row number 9, as I remember to count. Row number 10 is going to be Tristan Yellen. Good to see him back in the sim and enjoying himself off alongside of Lam Nguyen. Row number 11 is going to be Adrian Gretchen. The revs are starting to rise, by the way, so we might just skip through the rest of the grid, jump out to our pole sitter, because we are going to be about to go racing. No, there was a few guys just deeper in the field revving their engines. They got me all a little bit excited. Matthew Pure and Michael Gillespie. I heard engines. I was flicking through the field. I heard engines. Leave me alone. Sean McKenzie and Martin Lipke, they were ready for a start, Dave. I tell you that much already.
So easily pleased.
Ronald Long and David Riviere out of the 14th row on the grid. Lachlan Taylor and Gustavo Cirillo. My word, that's not a good time from him at the back end of the field. And he has got a lot of work to do, but maybe he's going for a last to first challenge. Sometimes it's a little bit of fun to try and see how many cars you can overtake in a race.
I'm guessing he's sort of failed to put in a clean lap, as would be my
he did register a clean lap time, but it was 14 seconds off the next car.
Oh.
So, look. The revs are now going to start to rise from the front end of the grid for the second time for some of the drivers in the midfield, and the green flag is going to drop. Who got the getaway? It actually looks like Brett McBurney timed the start just a fraction better on the outside. The run down to turn number 1 is always going to be difficult at this little racetrack. And trying to find where you can feed yourself in for the drivers at the front end of the field. Not enough time to set down in there at a whole rate of knots. Tyres are cold as they get to turn 1. Spinner in the field does get back, goes around and manages to save it.
I think that was Yellen that went round, wasn't it?
It might have been deeper in the field as they run down the back straight away. Now the draft will start to kick in. They're looking for some tyre heat. And there is still someone at the tail end of the field looking like they're in a little bit of trouble. And it was Tristan Yellen, so you might have been right. Yeah, it was Tristan Yellen that did go around at the tail end of the field. And has been successfully able to get himself to a gap in the wall and will tow out of position. So Yellen's night just about over before it began.
There's a real slipstream place as home of horsepower. It's all about a good slipstream and a good tow, and McBurney is sticking right on Ben Roberts' tail there. That's a nice little wide line into that last corner. He comes out of there with a lot more straight line, a lot more exit speed. So, but yeah, McBurney's in that tow, and you're going to stick on the back of him for as long as he can. Runs down the outside, hanging on to the front now. There's already a little bit of a break there between McCrowan and Harris in 3rd and 4th. But, there's wheels at Schweikert. Wow.
They traded blows. Schweikert still sits in 6th place at this point in time. Geordie Slater, the car, and behind him, Steve Cordes and Ian Zhu, as they run down through the chicane and onto turn 4 onto the back straight. So A couple cars already picking themselves up. Mechanical Black Flags. Lam Newen has managed to get to the pit lane and clear that one. Tristan Yelland in the pit lane, and you would think Knight done, and David Riviere, it looks like done for the day as well. So those are the drivers impacted by the incidents. The only driver, there's only... Well, there is a few, actually. About half the top 10 have managed to trade a bunch of places, but yeah, you're looking a little bit deeper in. It's bravery at the crest of the hill. Bravery again when you go too wide down in there, as Vernie's going to go around the outside into the 12th place. That was bold. That was bold indeed.
But McCrone was so over the limit down the Bannerman Road. I wasn't sure he was going to pull it up. He was out of control, trying to reel in that gap to the second place McBurney. So now have we got a battle of three in the front? Look at Roberts running away again.
Yeah, trying to at least run away at the front end of town, but McBurney's keeping him at least a little bit honest, and this is sort of helping McBurney because it means that he, he's sitting there, he's watching, he's learning, and he's getting pulled along. So there's always an opportunity. Jordy Slater's been having it as well.
Not a place to go too wide through. Look at the gap that's now given Schweikert there. Aiden really driving, very mature driving from one of the youngest guys in the field. Great to see.
Yeah, and he's into 6th place now and starting to pick up just a little bit of a toe off of Tyson Hanmer ahead. Hanmer's got no one to work with him at the moment, sits out and on his own does the Vermilion Sim Sports driver. So Timothy Harris has already broken that toe just up ahead. Oh, and I tell you what, Hammer just had a huge moment on the run down through the corner, out and over the curve, will scrape the bottom of the car, lose a little bit of time. Schweikert now brings himself back into the picture in that battle for 5th. And you can see the stewards have already been quite busy. Normal Formula Ford racing, that first lap on cold tyres, very difficult to get the car settled, Dave.
Yeah, you got to remember too, they shouldn't be out of the race here because they do get a fast repair in FF Sport, which they don't get in Pro. Pro, with, no quarter given. You damage the car, you're out of the race. But here they get a full repair, one only, to keep them in the race as the sort of more sport-orientated class.
And somebody else has just gone around at the outside of turn number 1. There's two that's gone around at turn 1. There was one on the outside and the 25 machine on the inside. So Jordy Slater's gone around. And I'm pretty sure it was the 25 car, which would be Ashley Cutchy, and I believe it is, who's caught it on the inside of that one.
McBurney's still hanging on to Roberts here, but Roberts just trying to make that little break. But the McCrowan down through here the other day, the other lap was just so on. Look how much curb he's using. Wow.
Yeah, and you got to be aggressive. How good's the run down into turn number 1? 3 wide. McCutcheon was down the inside, just a little bit of wheel tangling, and the problem was 3 wide into turn 1 does work, but not when there's a car parked on the outside curb. And now you can see the little bit of a break in the pack, and this is going to be Tyson Hanmer's rear view mirror.
We're looking at young Aiden Schweikert here, and he's in the tow. You can see him starting to make a bit of a move. Got a bit of run on, up the inside, and that'll be the place.
Yep, and he lifted out in Tyson Hanmer, and what that allowed is Steve Cordes to go and try and slide down the inside. Had to react and try and cover that one off. It was a late move back to the inside to cover it off. Hangs onto the spot for the meantime, so Schweikert moves into 5th. Can he make some ground, though, on Timothy Harris up ahead? That will be the big kicker. Can he work, perhaps with Hanmer, to break the guys in behind and create them some space to have a battle for 5th? Because if they can't, they're going to squabble for the rest of the race. By the way, Timothy Harris has dropped a fraction of time back to Schweikert at this point in time, but it is a fraction in that first section. It would be the toe. So if Hanmer can slice down the inside nice and easily, Schweikert does give it to him eventually.
It is about working together, not ruining each other, and you letting the guy behind get the toe, take the lead. Next straight, you get the toe, take the lead, and don't do this dive down the inside and throw everybody up. The guy in front is running away. And there's no point in doing that because you're always going to get towed by unless you can work together and get the guy in front.
So this is Ben Roberts and McBurney going for the lead up the front of the thing.
Nice move. See how Ben hasn't fought that because it doesn't matter. He's going to be able to move up on him and probably take him down the front straight again.
I can tell you that position has changed hands at turn 1, and there was an incident a little bit deeper in the field. Around goes the 21 machine. And that is that of Jason Depp, who will fall through the field as well. And then this,
There we
the
go.
change back for the lead as they run down into turn number 1. And again, same thing, straight line, draft, all working out for Ben Robertson. Again, just helped fractional lift, slots back in, and it keeps the 3 of them breaking away from Timothy Harris, who now sits a little bit further back. He's distant now as Timothy Harris.
In the lock wheels again. Oh.
And Geordie Slater, I can tell you, by the way, the 30 machine has just called for a tow. He's parked up somewhere between turn 2 and turn 3. So this might tell the story. That will tell the story. That's the 30 machine, up and over the wheel.
Ouch.
And at the moment, parked up. And I don't think he's got drive in that car. And the safety car has been deployed. Yep.
Oh, here comes that sexy looking safety car.
Did I hear you complaining about the guy that's behind this wheel earlier on? No, Dave Roberts wouldn't do that. And there's been a request further in the field by Nathan Favero, I believe, to have a look at positions when the safety car was called.
Mark Bowman in the pit lane, so hopefully he's just going for a quick repair and out again. Probably bent something.
Yeah, and there's more discussions about something as well. It might have been, I think, Ronald Long or Ashley Kutchie has got an issue. Martin Lipsky is having some sort of dramas as well. Because Lipsky's just overtaken a whole bunch of cars. So these guys are going to try and keep some heat in the tyres. And Lipsky's now redressed in behind Favero. So that solves the drama that Favero was on about. So Lipsky must have just missed the call for the safety car as well and has kept on going. One of the difficulties, of course, is that there would be safety car boards and flags right out the duration of the circuit, but it is just part and parcel of the sim, isn't it?
Yeah, and I don't think anybody's lapped down at this stage either, because I don't know. We'll wait and see, but I'm not sure we'll get a wave around because. Oh yeah, it looks like we're getting a wave around. So
yeah, just David Riviere. So what looks like it happens for David is he had an issue of some sort of hardware or an internet drama on lap number 1. He's reset the sim just to give himself an opportunity to keep going, and with his safety car, brings himself back to the lead lap. So
well, now he's got to drive like a madman to try and get back on the tail before it goes green again.
And hearing Geordie Slater is in the pit lane at this point in time as well. And I've just seen the rear end of that car go up in the air, so I think fresh rubber is being applied.
There we
Slater.
go. Michael Cullen. Amazing how he's driving with a blindfold, isn't it, Scott?
It's nearly like he's got VR and having a little bit of a look around the sim at this point in time.
I mean, I use VR, but I think it looks hilarious. It looks like you've got a blindfold on.
Yeah.
It's quite funny.
So safety car's going to be doing one more lap. We're back to racing action. It's going to be probably about 18 minutes on the clock when we get there.
Okay, so let's have a look at it. We've got Ben Roberts still at the front, Brett McBurney still hard on the tail, with McClellan well in tow as well. Then there was a little gap back to Timothy Harris, which won't be there anymore as they take a restart. Tyson Hamner sitting there in 5th. Steve Cortis in 6th. Steve's had a good run. Steve's an ex-Formula Ford racer as well, and I believe he raced the 944 Porsche Cup as well. And I did hear he's actually won a Victorian Formula Ford Series race. I don't know whether it was here at Sandown or not. Then you got Ross Hanson, who's my long-distance partner in the long distance races. So I think we're supposed to be doing Spa this weekend if my computer gets back in time. Ian Zhu, they're in 8th. Aidan Schweikert having a good run there in 9th on his return to the series. And Nathan Burney rounds out in the top 10. That's pretty good. And there's Mike Cullen, who we saw there with blindfold on, sitting in 11th currently.
Interestingly enough, actually, Schweikert must have just had a drama right before that safety car was called, because he was with Martin Henma and fighting for 6th place, and no longer the case. Zhu's put a lot of effort through those rear tyres. A few drivers trying to put a lot of heat in their tyres at this point in time.
I'm not, I'm in the real Formula 4, I'm not sold on weaving like mad. I find that running the brakes and keeping some temperature in the wheel with the brakes and actually tyres cooling off a little bit. Oh, here we go. That's what
This was
that
Schweiker.
moment, down bit. Yep. Well recovered, but damage done. But yeah, I'm not a great believer even in the real world of that heavy weaving, and I don't really believe it makes the difference in the sim world either.
Well, I mean, the other part about the real world is that it does try and scuff the tyre a little bit, clean the edge of it up, but now they're going to be going, and that's the big key for Ben Roberts, is that he went very, very early, and now he's going to cover the draft as the Formula Ford Snake makes its way down the front road at Winton.
He's gone
Not Winton, my apologies. Sandown Motor Raceway. And McBurney, you're right, has gone quite close with him, so he's managed to maintain station as Brett McBurney, and now McCrowan sits a little bit distance in terms of third place. I don't think anyone made it through turn 1 side by side. They just couldn't quite get the run. Nathan Favera's run wide at turn 1, up and over the curb as they fire off out of turn 4. And some cars still not even through the turn 2 through 3 chicane at the moment. Leave the rear end of the field just now making its way through the chicane. So here goes McBurney.
Got a good run.
Looking for the run around the outside, sticks his nose out in the fresh air, and all of a sudden the car stalls out a little bit, does get clear. Ben Roberts will lift fractionally to allow him to slot in, gets all the way back to the left-hand side of the road. So McBurney leads this one yet again, and Roberts will be looking to swap it back on that front straight. How warm are the tyres for the bulk of the field is probably a very important question.
Covering for McCrowan. He doesn't want McCrowan to slide up the inside and drop back 2 spots. But McBurney's a little bit of break there. Just a tiny whisper there. Like it ran the outside. Nice move.
Yeah, that was on Ian Zhu. So that will relegate Zhu back down to 9th spot. Schweiker will pick that one up. And there's another car that's had a drama somewhere, and it is at the final corner. And it's going to be Harvey from the rear end of the field now. We're having a look and investigating this one at this point in time, up towards the lead. Yeah, we're going to have a look at the replay of the Harvey incident. He's already off pace. Somebody already off pace down the inside.
Oh, that was a weird incident, wasn't it?
Very weird.
That looked like a Lotus at festival speed.
And anyway, for the meantime, there is some damage on a side pod I just saw there, I thought, as well. Somebody's side pod wasn't perfectly straight.
Oh,
now
around we go.
Angle at turn 4. Geordie Slater has found dramas. It was Sean Reed. It was Sean Reed's side pod I thought I saw damage on earlier, and it is Sean Reed into the barriers once again. I can tell you Ross Hansen's just had a huge moment at the end of
Ross
back straight away, and has managed to arrest that one somehow before making contact with the barriers.
That's not a place you want to go off. Down the left-hand side as you go down the corner. That's really a big pity for Ross. But that is a huge moment to do that up over there.
Not at all easy.
Just lost the tail over the top. There he goes. She's sideways. Hang on, break.
Well done. I tell you what, I thought he was going for all money when he tipped that one in there.
I've done that in the real thing in the wet, and luckily there's a bit of tarmac there. Otherwise, it would have been a very one-sided Formula Ford at the time.
And there's now a little bit of a break in the pack, by the way, because Schweiker, in that move that he's made, well, that now elevates him up to 7th after the unfortunate spin for Ross on that most recent lap. He's now actually going to get attacked, and you're having a look at the driver that's in behind them as well. So Verney and McCullen. So go Schweikert, Verney, Inju now, Schweikert, Verney, Cullen for you 7th through 10th. As Zhu slides back down the inside, gets some drafting support, and you can just see McCullen trying to get close enough to have a go. And Ashley Kutchy's now had an issue out of turn 4.
Oh, yep. Oh, that's a...
And
he damaged it when they came together. Now the car's a mess.
Safety car's been deployed for the second time tonight.
McBurney's still got the lead too. He's really taking this to Ben Roberts. Great to see. So McBurney pulls the field down in speed and looks to settle in behind the safety car. It should be up there in front of him somewhere with a bit of luck. There, oh no, it's in pit lane.
And that's Ashley Kutchie now on the side of the road and stuck. We'll get back to the lane to try and get the spare car. Get back out there. But I think that might be the second incident for Kutchie as well. So that might be Kutchie's night done. That was a trip over.
Yeah, his damage is a wooden turn, flat front right tyre or something or other. And this one's got, you can see the left-hand rear is not working the way it should be.
Yeah, you can just see it. Suspension arms.
Broken half shaft.
Yep, unfortunately. And safety car will be deployed when they round the final corner this time by.
That should be.
Already waiting down at turn 1.
Yeah, there it is. Now, someone's coming out of the pits there and is ahead of the leader, so he will be between the safety car and the leader of the race. That'll be interesting. So Mackenzie there, he's going to drop right in between the two of them. So he'll get a wave by and disappear before the restart, I expect.
Yeah, so they're just going to, first responsibility is arrest the field. Second responsibility, they're looking out for this one. This one's only happened because Mackenzie left just as the field was coming out of the final corner. So that's the only reason Sean Mackenzie's been trapped in this position. Safety car was released out of pit lane, was sitting down there waiting, and yeah, he got out of there before the race leaders were able to come through. So sure, Scott Harvey is now unlapping himself and is back out in the race, so we'll at least have himself an opportunity. Ross Hansen's starting to recover from the rear end of the field, so this is an opportunity for him to get himself back into it at the moment. Slipped out of about 7th place, is back to 24th. So an opportunity for him to recover a few spots at the tail end of this one.
So who have we got who's made the most ground from their start position here?
Gustavo Cirillo by a long way from the rear end of the field.
There we go. 18 positions gained. Ronald Long, 11. Adrian Gretsch, 10. Martin Lipsky, 9. That's good going by those 4 boys.
Well, interesting to note from Gustavo Cirillo as well is that he is faster than sort of the next 5 cars on the road ahead of him. So
we've been charging from the back because we said when he was on the back of the grid he was well out of position. It was certainly helpful. We got some cuts and wasn't really where he should have been. So that gives him an opportunity to have a bit of fun and practice his overtaking skills.
Yeah. Just a warning to Martin Lipsky was just issued in sim, by the way, just due to is now overtaken on both the safety cars most recently, which is, I mean, one of the difficulties, right? And you know, we talked about it already, was getting the safety car boards and flags out, but some of the drivers don't have a lot of their comms and chatter and bits and pieces enabled, and
but
whilst that's okay for
official
racing, yeah, it's not okay for league racing. So it's just a little tweak a few of the drivers have to make sometimes, remembering where they are. Could be. I mean, the other side of the coin for Lipsky as well is he actually might not have a sound device registered as his chatter's sound device at the moment, so he may not actually be able to hear anyone at the moment, and he's sort of realising 3 or 4 seconds after, but he's already passed a bunch of cars.
But yeah, that again, as I said, that is a driver's responsibility to ensure that he has communication with race control. If he doesn't, that's his problem, not race control. So, yeah, if he's passed under the yellow flag, he'll get a penalty for it. He's been warned, so he's returned all the positions every single time. Yep,
that's not the issue. He has overtaken, so he has been warned. If it happens again, that will be the end of that one. Righto, we are now starting to run out of time in this race. We've got 9 minutes left on the clock, and that safety car will be released here in just a few moments, which means we are going to have in the realm about, I reckon we'll probably get 5 laps in. No, it'll be a bit more. We probably will get the 6th lap in.
Listen to that safety car just here down the road.
Too late. Under the Ford Mustang. The engine on it's brilliant. You still hear it going away in the background.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, not as agile as a lot of its compatriots in the GT3 cars, which is disappointing. I want to love it. I want to drive it more, and you just can't. By the way,
I think we're going to run them anyway.
Brett McBurney is leading the way in Formula Ford at the moment, and he's going to go before they get to the apex of the last corner. He didn't wait, and he's a little bit shallow. He missed his braking marker at the last corner. He's not got momentum as they come onto the start-finish straight, and now Ben Roberts is going to try and wind this one up. So McBurney won it and got the lead on the last safety car restart, and now it's Ben Roberts' turn to have a go at this one. Will swing it to the inside. He'll have the inside run all the way down to turn number 1. Swung it back to the outside. McBurney actually yielded down there. It's going to prop him up at turn 1, but back to the race lead. Ben Roberts. Daniel McCrone will slot into the third. Tim Harris now with an opportunity to see if he can advance himself late on in this one. Has Hanma managed to go with them at this point in time? Yes, he has. Zhu got back ahead of Schweikert once again, and now sits 7th on the road. And these guys attached to the front view. And someone around at the back end of the field as well was David Riviere, who after rejoining the race.
Here we go. Change for the lead again. If you don't know, he's pulled out and stopped.
Yeah, and Daniel Crone was thinking about having a go down the inside. Supreme amount of toe.
Oh.
And ran out of time to get down the inside there. Ross Hansen's cut his way back through. And Zhu dives down to the inside. Gets to 6th on Steve Cordes, and I just got an update from Ross Hansen at the back end of the field. Has already gained 4 spots on the restart up to 20th. Now looking to try and hunt down Lachlan Taylor as well. Zhu's still going for it. Is that Schweikert that's managed to get through there as well? Indeed it is. So,
and that Cordes has gone round as a result.
That's a tricky one there for Steve Cordes.
Awful place to try and get back on the road.
Indeed, we'll rejoin it.
Now McBurney's trying to set himself up here to get a run back onto the back straight. If he can get in Ben's toe onto the back straight, yeah, he's got a good chance of taking the lead before they get over Rocky.
Oh, Gustavo Cirillo.
Out of there.
I tell you what, Gustavo Cirillo has got Dean Williams all out of control, and Dean Williams has been sideways about 4 times already on this lap. That would make time number 5, and now he's going to bang wheels with Jason Depp, as Jason Depp was looking for a little bit of the toe. Williams will get it back, but those rear tyres on that Ray Formula Ford are now supremely overheated. Does Jason Depp get back down the inside? He's significantly alongside. A little bit of draft, got the nose ahead, and by the time they get to the crest of the hill, Dean Williams had to lift out just a little bit, and that's the replay on the bottom corner as well.
Like he didn't do anything wrong, just proud of him. Cordes had to pull the car a little tighter around there. Somebody well right, that's Hansen
Ross
around
again.
Oh, let's reverse into the teammate, the driver. Yeah. Hansen's. Oh, don't.
Well, they're back up and at it at the front end of the field. McBurney is starting to close in, and McCrone had a run.
He's got to get this run out of the tight left-hander there onto the back straight, what used to be known as Peters. But, yeah, Roberts is really quick through here.
He is indeed, and the problem is McCrone's starting to get a good run. That was probably the worst run McCrone's gotten since the restart, so the opportunities are starting to diminish. Cirillo, in the meantime, by the way, 11th spot on the road at this point in time, still in with a good shout at point. Schweikert will be thinking about trying to have a run at Ian Zhu as well, and McBurney's going to go to the outside. McCrone is in trouble. McCrone is going to be in trouble. Will Timothy Harris be able to charge around the outside? No, he won't. And Harris is potentially going to lose a spot as well. Hanma had a real good look at him. So now it gets really tight up at the front. McCrone had a big old wiggle as they come out of Dandenong Road. And all of a sudden,
again, really trying to put it to Roberts, making Roberts cover all the time. Now, can he get a run out of here? If he gets a good run out of here, he might be able to do it down the front.
Yeah, he might. He might indeed. He might just have a big old go. He's close enough as McBurney. Has he waited long enough? Has he put himself in the draft long enough? Has he set himself up? As we go with 4 minutes on the clock, there's going to be time for, I reckon, we're going to get 4 laps in by the skin of our teeth. We're going to just have enough time for a 4th lap at this point in time. Dave Roberts, and they're still going at it as they enter the chicane. Don't touch the curb on the way in. Touch the curb on the left-hander.
Quick through here. Look, he's pulled 2 cars through there every time.
And the difficulty is McBurney trying to back off him a little bit so he gets enough of a run so that when he pops the nose out, he can pop out and buy him. Or is he just not close enough? McCrone's still not been able to recover quite close enough to the back end.
He's been either too close or too far away. He's just got to find that happy distance in the middle where he's close enough to the toe.
McCrone! Oh, right out and over the curbs. Somehow didn't die in that exchange, but now he's going to be real weak when they get down here to the end of the back straight. The exit out of turn 9, the kink at turn 10. And Tim Harris will be thinking, if he does that one more time, boy, I'm in with a shout here. And McBurney's wide at the final corner to get the drive. But neither so is Ben Roberts. Ben Roberts now doesn't get drive. Hadman's gone around, was sitting in 5th, was on for a phenomenal night in terms of the point scores. Now has dropped way back and out of it. Tim Harris now comfortably in 4th spot. Shu up to 5th. And Aiden Schweikert moves into 6th, although Tim Harris has dropped off the rear bumper of the lead pack now. So it is now a 3-way fight for the race win.
Yep, it's one of these 3 is going to take the win, unless they all take each other out. Nathan Favero stopped them straight there.
Yeah, and Favero's had an issue out of the final corner. It was on the end of lap number 18, which will be looked at by the officials. So they've got their hands full here tonight. McCrone does get a double toe, which is the key thing to remember here. That extra car worth the draft always gives you just a few extra clicks. It's not as much as the first draft is worth, but it is just a little bit. He's a touch closer as they crest the hill. The run down into Dandenong Road once again. And a look at McBurney that time. He had a great turn number 9. And now he is right there, and it's going to matter. Well, there was a bad last corner for both of them on the most recent lap. Do they both correct? McBurney's right there. They just about bang nose cone to engine as they come off the final corner. There was nearly a gearbox readjustment in the works of Ben Roberts there. And the fastest lap of the race comes through from Brett McBurney at the same time. We're going to get a replay. And this is for Vero's
got Roberts into turn 1. He's taken the lead.
Yeah, so he does slice his way on through, and that's the incident that was happening just back there. Daniel McCrone's now right on it. And Ben Roberts has had things all his own way in the points thus far. Not necessarily on the racetrack.
By Ben Roberts.
But he is close enough. And I tell you what, there will be...
that's stuck on the curb.
One more lap. We will get one more lap. We won't get 2. As they run down the back straight away. They are just about even. They are even. Now Ben Roberts gets the nose ahead, but it's the long way round when they crest the hill at turn 6. Does he tip it in? He does get around the outside. Does Daniel McCrone try and dive it down the inside nice and late? No, he doesn't. There'll be one more lap left to run. And Ben Roberts was all attitude as they come off of turn number 9. They'll run down to the final chicane, and McCrone having a nose, but that's probably not the place to do it with one lap left to run. The drive out of the final corner, and I tell you what, I think McBurney's close enough, Dave. I just think he's right on the limit of being close enough.
The thing is, does he want to lead onto that back straight? Can he do it? He's going to go down the inside. He's going to take it into turn 1. And Roberts is going to hope he's going to be able to get that run again up the back straight. But I tell you what, if I was running up that back straight this time, my car would be the widest thing you've ever seen.
McCrone nearly had to go at Ben Roberts, which has checked him up as they enter the chicane. Roberts got a really good run yet again, but this is the first time that he's going to have to do it, and it's going to be the hardest time here tonight.
Bernie got a good run onto the back straight this time, but now, mate, he's just got to make this car so wide. Wherever, just weave, block, and whatever it is.
Biggest assistant right now is Daniel McCrone because he checked him up the run. They are even as they tip it in at the crest of the hill. Are they going to be able to carry it all the way around? They give each other space out over the curbs. They both bottom out. Is McBurney deep? McBurney running in very deep. McBurney
too deep. He's running away.
Oh, that is a great motor race up until the last. They're both going to stay on through. And McCrone checked Ben Roberts up, gave himself every opportunity, and it was brilliant. They gave each other the right amount of space. They checked each other up. They weaved, they sliced, they diced, and Ben Roberts still comes out on top.
And Brett will be kicking himself for that. It was just a fraction too late on the brakes, and went from hero to 0.
My word. And I tell you what, there was 21 thousandths of a second in 5th place as well between Schweikert and Timothy Harris. So it was on between those guys as well for 5th place. And the tail end of the field still coming out of the final corner, 18th through to 21st on the road at this point in time. And Scott Harvey's going to pull into the pit lane. He won't even make it because the car is just crawling on the way back to the pit lane.
Well, that was a hectic finish.
That just went nuts out of nowhere. And Ben Roberts.
I thought from Bernie, he really deserved that. He'd worked hard all race, taken it to Ben Roberts every lap of the race, got himself in the position, and the very second last corner, just small little misjudgment, and it was all gone.
Yeah, it was phenomenal all the way around. Ben Roberts from Daniel McCrowan. Brett McBurney in Shu managed to pick up a whole bunch of spots on a night where he didn't look necessarily all that great either, so managed to scrap away a whole bunch of points and keep himself relevant. Aidan Schweikert will finish in 5th, Timothy Harris 6th, Verney from Cullen from Gretsch, from Gustavo Cirillo all the way through the field, 30th on the grid, finishes in 10th. Gains a whole bunch of spots. Matthew Bakir, Tyson Hanmer will finish outside the points where he sat 3rd in the championship. There must have been a whole bunch of drama on that final lap because all of a sudden we had a bunch of cars not complete the final lap of the race. Ronald Long will get home in 13th. Lam Newen, the first of the drivers that finished off the lead lap. Dean Williams, Lachlan Taylor, Michael Gillespie, Scott Harvey, David Riviere and Geordie Slater outside your 20. And then it was the drivers, the last few of them that were on that one lap down. Steve Cordes was one of them. Sean Reid, Ross Hansen. Boy, he had a few dramas here tonight. So did Sean McKenzie, Jason Depp, Nathan Favero, Mark Bowman, and Martin Lipsky. Bowman is 2 laps down, 4 laps down for Lipsky, and Kutchi at 7 laps down. Dave, that was brilliant. Ben Roberts will head in with 3 wins from 3 races, but he was challenged tonight every step of the way.
He certainly was. He was pushed right to the last corner, wasn't he?
One of the big keys, though, is right now he does have an entire win and 6 points under his belt. He's got a 25-point margin plus 6 points from the next round as well. So even though Ben Roberts does miss a race or two throughout the season, just looking at that point scores at the moment there, Ben, there is a round advantage in your favour at this point in time, should Ian Zhu win in your absence.
Yeah, well, it's 1 round down, probably 2 more to go. Yeah, but that was just such fun racing. Really close with Brett, and especially in Daniel. What I was trying to do in the last few minutes was force him into a mistake, and it happened.
Mate, it was tough because you've got to break the toe, you've got to draft it. It's Sandown. It's about playing those games because you've got to be accurate first and foremost, and then you get to have these really, really fun draft game races where you've got to think, you've got to be creative in when you pull the trigger and making sure that you're accurate enough to be able to send the reply move as well. How good was that? Because Brett was there, Daniel was there. It's just brilliant racing.
Yeah, it is brilliant racing, and sort of a bit of home track advantage, I think, played into that as well with the strategy and knowing what you can and can't get away with.
Yeah, sorry, Ben, I was actually cheering against you there. I've cheered for you enough. I felt somebody else deserved a bit of a cheer on, and I did feel for Brett down in that last corner, but mate, it's a small mistake, but that's what makes the difference out there, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And when you can sort of force someone else into a mistake and or push them sort of beyond their limits, and that's a hard-fought win. Races like that.
Cool.
Mate, finally, Lebanon next week. We know obviously you're going to miss around at some point throughout the season. Do you know when that one will be?
Yeah, the last 3 I'm going to miss. Lebanon, not too confident on though. For a couple of laps I've done there, found it a bit tricky. So
it's a hard place.
I'll have to put a bit more practice in this week, I think.
A lot of it is blind, turn in. You've got to turn in without seeing the apex. You really got to know where you are on the circuit. So lots of concentration will be needed next week.
100%. And a bit more practice than I needed for this week.
Yeah. Yes.
Mate, well, congratulations on another race win. Who are the people that get it done for you?
Of course, all the guys at DPR Racing and all our sponsors, NP Designs, Southwell Lifts and Hoist, Ben Max Mechanical, and of course everyone in FIG Race Control for making this run smoothly, and you guys for broadcasting this and allowing everyone else to see all this fun racing we have.
Mate, congratulations on another win from Formula Ford Sport. We'll see you again next weekend, and who knows, it might be somebody else we're talking to after that race then. Thank you very much for your chat, as usual.
No worries, boys.
Cheers, Ben.
Well, in terms of things, Dave, we're going to flip very, very quickly from talking to Ben Roberts, chatting to our second place finisher, because Daniel McCrowan just jumped by for a chat. Daniel, you sat third and you just sort of watched the games for half an hour there, and then all of a sudden you found yourself in second place in the last lap.
Can you hear me, guys?
Yeah, we can, mate.
Yeah, nah, them two are pretty much quicker than me, so yeah, I was just hoping they were going to take each other out, to be honest.
Well, almost.
Mate, in terms of the racing, though, to go that close for that long at Sandown's always a pleasure with watching along. I assume, qualification was the big key, get it up front nice and early. But then it's also settle in, see if you can learn something and not make a mistake. How do you keep the focus level up when you're watching two guys fight extremely hard ahead of you?
Pretty hard, because, I don't want to ruin their race by getting too close to them, but... they're on another level, them guys, but yeah, it was so much fun. Thanks to everyone who put this on. It was great.
And mate, finally, who are the sponsors and the people around you that get it done for you?
No one really. Me son just made up a nice little design on me car, and yeah, I'm hoping to get a few guys together and create a little team. This is my first outing of league racing, but yeah, absolutely loved it. Thanks, guys.
Mate, thank you very much for joining us here tonight. It will be a pleasure to see more of you as everything progresses, Daniel. And see you again next week from Let It On.
Thanks a lot.
Righto, Dave, that is going to do us here tonight from the Formula Ford Australia Sport category. It's time to release the pro drivers, and we've seen a little bit of fixed racing action just to warm up the show, and warm up the show it did. Now we're going to be releasing the A-grade drivers effectively in anger as qualifying for Formula Ford Australia Pro Series is underway. And it's about picking your dance partner and qualifying here, and you've got to have a good one.
Well, there's a up to look. Daniel was back in 8th place. He's won both rounds so far. He's back in 8th place in the qualifying session so far. So that'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, indeed he is. So he's got to find some time. Session still has about 8.5 minutes left in the qualifying session to go. So a lot of time and a lot of opportunities are still in the air for Formula Ford.
What?
And we're going to lose 3 drivers down there at the end of the Dandenong Road.
Yeah. And this is in qualifying, so,
And now they're all going to try and get themselves sorted back out. Brodie Shepherd on the run out of the final corner currently sits down in 27th spot. That's probably interrupted his lap at the moment. But now he'll get an opportunity to set it. And
Chris Mitchell up to 5th. That's good. And Kobe Williams sitting there in 6th. So Kobe was second in our 4th round. So another real-world racer, Formula Ford racer, doing very well in the series this year. Yeah, so we've got a few of the real world guys, but at the moment it's the Sim boys who are actually leading the way on the home of Formula Ford.
yeah, indeed it is. And it'd be interesting to see if this lap's an improvement from Ben Miles. It's 18th with a 15.279. So he'll be looking to try and make a little bit more time out of it. But the fans that are watching along at home might have said, hey, that light level might have just adjusted a little bit. Yep, we've moved into the afternoon sun in Melbourne for the Formula Ford Pro drivers.
Sun and Melbourne, not two things I normally relate to each other.
I can tell you the weather is miserable at the moment, Dave, in this section of the world. I think it's miserable for most of the eastern part of the country, though.
Oh, well, it's very nice up here. But I was down in Melbourne last week and it was chilly. Really enjoyed myself.
So the rain's been coming and going basically the entirety of the last week. And,
Kobe Williams for the fastest time. So Kobe Williams now takes the top spot on the timesheet. So he's moved up, taken the lead away from Caleb Hides in this qualifying session.
Yeah, Nico Mendes has moved himself into 6th spot. It was actually
and Will Lowing up to 5th. So Will was on the podium at our opening round at Winton as well. So cream's starting to rise to the top here.
And the difficulty for Formula Ford qualifying sessions, they are incredibly tricky because you've got to time the run. You've certainly got to get qualifying. By the way, Damon Woods has slipped further back now, sits in 12th spot, but at the moment he's getting a nice tow on the lap that he's currently on. 5.5 minutes left in terms of qualifying. I can see a driver up in the final sector again. There's a huge train on the run to the final corner. And Chase Saxfield very desperately trying to get himself lined up and find his way into one of these draft trains. Didn't get the run that he was looking for that time, and now he'll have to drop to the back end of this train and try and slow himself back in. There is some more drivers coming that he'll be able to try and line himself back in with. Ben Bug won and sits 19th on the road this point in time, and does get a tow from the car that's ahead of him as well. So we'll see if he's able to improve. And
I also see that Dylan Burst, who was second last week, he was down the sheet and he's down in about 15th place. He just popped himself up to 5th place in that last lap. So he's back in contention because he had a good run last week to second place behind Damon Woods.
yeah, Dylan Burst is going to get drafted by Seth Brown on the current lap as well, and Seth will try and take that tow and do something with it. Ben Bargwanna out of the final corner. That was a car slowing to his inside, so I wonder whether or not he did get past that one safely. Damon Woods has cut his way to the head of the queue on this one. He's had a supreme amount of tow down the back straight. Now it's the run out of the exit there, and someone's gone around. Caleb Bellack did just apologise to someone on the radio, and I think it might have been Kobe Williams that's gone around and is rolling back out of pit lane now with a fresh car.
See what this does now. He's pulled a double toe up the back. Where's he go to?
Oh my word, that is an immense lap. Everyone else is scrapping for thousandths of a second between them, and Damon Woods goes and puts 3.5 tenths in the field.
Unbelievable. We knew it was good. I just didn't know it was that good.
Seth Burchart's at the moment trying to get a lap in. The sector times are looking good for Burchart.
Oh, that car gets out of the way, get out of the way. We've got another one wandering up there. They're both out of the way. We've got 3 runs through the last 2 corners. Get it neat. Good exit out of here. Looks could be a good lap again.
Yeah, but devoid of any tow to the start-finish line, and that's the key. 14.549, so it does improve a spot.
Yep, up to 4th place.
We were hearing earlier in that lap that the tow that he was on and the lap time that he was on was looking like it might have been good enough for P2. He's lost in the final couple of sectors without that tow. Huge moment for Hansford Taylor in the final couple of corners as well. And that might end qualifying for a couple of drivers. 2 minutes and 50 seconds on the clock. Enough time to get back out, but there's not a lot of time left in the session. And Kobe Williams is trying to get a supreme draft at this point in time, and on the run down to turn number 1, see if he can improve his lap time. Sam Chapman and Caleb Bellack will be pushing the hole in the air for these drivers as well. We'll look a little bit further back. Burchart's ejects himself out of there, recognises he's not going to get the lap time in, and didn't want to harass other drivers. Alex Beswick making a little bit of time in the middle of the field as well, Dave.
It looked like they may be teammates, so they may have been working together. The big toe up back and pull off over the rocks and let him have to clear under the start-finish line. So see if that works for them with him. Mendez, what's time for Mendez?
Nico Mendez out of the final corner will improve his time. Improves to P3 for Nico Mendez.
So that's
Phenomenal
what that was about. The teammates working together to give the and another one's round.
Now it's Kobe Williams going around again. And now they'll jockey for a position on the racetrack. Everyone wants to obviously pick up the tow, but you don't want to disrupt someone that's on a fast lap at that point in time.
Rolling to P2. He's only a 10th off Wood.
I reckon the track's got some more rubber laid down on it. We've found a bunch of grip in the dying stages of this session as well. And there's going to be a bunch of drivers line up to have a crack at another lap.
Ewan Baker to P3.
As Baker does improve.
So it's now Woods, Lowen, Baker, Williams, Burke, and Mendez. What a fantastic top 6 that is.
And there's a few big trains starting to link up as well. seeing the preparations for another lap for a bunch of people. So next time across the stripe, we'll start your final opportunity to lap, and there'll be some drivers that are already on their final lap. I can tell you as well, Chastanoff sits 18th, but it's everywhere you look across this timing chart. Remember Chris Mitchell a few moments ago sat 5th? Well, he's now down into 12th. We saw that from Damon Woods as well, and then he went to pole. So anything is still possible. Right, next time past the stripe, we'll start your final qualifying lap of the session. You won't have enough time to get another one in after that, so get to the line if you potentially can. Pick up the toe. Who's your drafting buddy? Kobe Williams looks like he's actually on an absolute steamer at this point in time, and he's got a lot of toe from teammates just ahead of him. A lot of attitude in the car, though. Lost the momentum as they come down and out of turn number 9. And Chris Mitchell not picking up the toe that necessarily was after. 17 seconds on the clock. Time is running out. Get it back to the stripe if you can and get that lap time in. And is there some more changing? Yes, Seth Burchardt finds some more lap time as well. Mitchell did find time, moved from 12th up to 9th. Williams, did he improve on that lap? 14.985 was not an improvement. It was 0.4 of a second off the pace he was looking for. Lost it at the end of Dandenong Road. And Damon Woods sits at the front end of this one. Someone around in the first sector as well. Means that it is open season through this sector of the lap. There'll be somebody, we'll check the field up. I think they were trying to get out of the way. I think that might have been, it wasn't Coxon, it was somebody that was in that group. Ben Barguana was sitting 19th earlier, and now 26th and deep in the field.
Yeah, but he's on a lap now, so let's see if we can improve that position.
15,
Ben Barguana goes across the line and up 15.1.
Improved by 5 thousandths of a second. So it was an improvement.
26.
James Foster's session will be done as he enters the pit lane as well. Bunch of cars coming through the final sector. William Lowing sets a 15 flat as he gets to the line. Chris Mitchell will be one of the next few cars. Doesn't have a toe, so it's probably not going to be a good lap for Mitchell. And that's a disappointment for him because it might be...
He's having to get yourself set, get on a good piece of road, get a toe, and put the rest of the lap together based around the toe, and hopefully you'll get one up the front, one up the back. That's the art of Formula Ford. And, P3, what a great last-minute time. But that is really the art of Formula Ford, being able to manufacture all those conditions and put them all together in one lap, not just get the corners right.
I'll tell you what, 14 thousandths of a second for Dylan Burst, but I'm not seeing that lap time on my numbers. I've got Dylan Burst currently sitting in 6th place with an equal lap time to Woods. So we are going to get an update on that one. That does look a lot better. So Damon Woods did manage to scrap out and bring out another pole position from William Lowing. Chris Cox said that late lap with a lot of toe for him was phenomenal. Put himself in a good spot. Ewan Baker from Kobe Williams. And this is where it gets really, really interesting. On the iRacing screen, they'll both throw a 14.505 for Kobe Williams and Dylan Burst. It goes down to the 10 thousandths of a second, and that's where Kobe Williams broke it out ahead for the positions on the third row of the grid. Nico Mendez will line up alongside of Caleb Hides, and back to the front few rows as we'll cut our way through them. Seth Burchardt will line up on the 5th row of the grid on the inside in 9th place. Off alongside of him will be Chris Mitchell, who did improve his time. He got to 9th and then immediately got shuffled back to 10th. Hayden Veld got to 11th in that qualifying session. Off alongside of him will be Seth Brown in 12th spot. James Foster and Matthew Hansford-Taylor will line up on row number 7. In row number 8 will be Cooper Allen and James Chastanoff, who were both probably scrapping for a little bit more pace, not able to quite grab the toe. It was 3 thousandths of a second further back to Alex Beswick on that row, off alongside of Jordan Mazzaroli. Caleb Bellack will be in behind them with Sean Doyle on row number 10. Row number 11 is Brody Shepard from Sam Chapman, and 1,000th of a second separated Shepard from Dyson Freeman. Caleb Dawson in behind him on that row. In behind them will be... Sorry, my apologies, with Caleb Dawson and Ben Miles. And then in behind them, Ben Barguana, my apologies, and Dylan Gray. And then out of 29th position will be Callum Newton from the rear of the grid, and the only driver in the 16s. The entire field, 3/4 of the field, all the way down to 19th spot, covered by 0.8 of a second. All in the 14s, 1 minute 14.
That's phenomenal, isn't it?
27 cars covered by less than a second, and the revs are going to start to rise. Damon Woods has had it all his own way. Will the Homer horsepower change things? They're going to pretty even getaway. In fact, it's just about bang on even from the front row. So they're going to be side by side as they run down to turn number 1. Who's going to pick up a draft and try and slice their way down? And very, very even right the way throughout the back. Ewan Baker was not necessarily getting a great start, but he's been saved by a good run through turn number 1, and Will start to get his way ahead first. Nearly bang wheels, by the way, with Chris Ed. There's a huge incident in the background, and everyone's trying to duck out of the way. I'm sure there's a car with a wheel off and no drive. And they all thunder down into number 4.
Caleb Dawson. So Damon Wood takes back the lead. But this is not going to go all his own way, it's looking like. If what we saw in Sport, where the toe was everything, we can stay with them, I think we've got a race on our hands here.
Yeah, it'll be a smart use of that opportunity to fight at the moment as well, because if you have a look, William Lowing at the moment sits third. My apologies, sits second. I'm looking at Ewan Baker, who's the driver, who's currently struggling to stay connected. So if Lowing perhaps just stays slots in, and Kobe Williams gets a little bit excited and goes for a dive here. Indeed, Kobe Williams will pull out and start to have a little bit of a go at Ewan Baker in behind, and will slot down to the head, and you wouldn't let him have that one because they're all trying to stay in this draft of this lead group. And I think you're right. They think they're working together just a little bit at the meantime. Hides is just at the back end of the rear of the pack, and another one around as they exit turn 1.
Cooper Allen ran the wrong way there for his car. So I think the boys here, they're not driving up the inside, so they don't want to ruin each other's
momentum?
Yes, momentum, exactly. So because they lose that momentum, then the gap opens and then you take it back on. They'd rather give away and stay in 4th rather than make a challenge to 3rd to stay in that lead toe. That's what they're looking for. And you can see now that Kobe Williams in 3rd, he's up on that toe of William Lowing. Is that William in 2nd in the black car? Okay.
Indeed it is, yep.
So, yeah, they're definitely using that toe, and they're not wanting to upset each other, because if they do, they can drop back, and then there's a gap, and they're gone. And you see that little gap. Kobe Williams, Baker. So, but Chris Coxhead, I'm sure he's back there and he had that extra bit of fun. It's all down the inside tonight. Yeah, Coxhead, I think we might see a little more.
Yeah, and now it's going to be a lot of aggression as well, because Caleb Hides and Nico Mendez was scrapping like you would not believe for 7th place, and that's disjointed them from the pack ahead just a little bit as they run down the back straight away. That's that little gap we're just sort of looking at.
Here we go.
Dylan Burst has been able to stay in it, and indeed it's kicking off for the race lead. Kobe Williams has just gone, you know what? Well, if you guys are going to park it up, I'm going to go ahead and take this one, because he's slid from 3rd on the racetrack all the way to 1st.
You got the nice little double toe up the back and got the momentum and just waved his little way by.
And Ewan Baker's been winding his P's and Q's the back end of this group, just waiting for an opportunity as well.
Yeah, I'm hoping Ewan has a good race. He had a bit of trouble last week and got involved in stuff he probably didn't deserve. But what goes around comes around. I feel he might have a better night. He's due for some good change of luck.
They'll all try and line themselves back in, and Coxhead's having a phenomenal run, and Kobe Williams does lead the way for the meantime. And look at that gap now that's formed off of behind Dylan Burst as someone goes really, really wide down at turn number 4, and that would have been Hayden Veld trying to recover and rejoin.
Oh, and that's another one.
It's another 2 around.
Beswick. Ooh, climbing.
As Alex Beswick unfortunately impacted by that one. Damon Woods now back to the point, slides past Kobe Williams. So he's timed that run really, really well. And you just get the feeling, Dave, this top group has come back together a fraction. This will be the replay of that incident. That's cost us a few drivers.
That
Two
was
separate
messy.
ones.
Oh!
And Brody Shepherd and Alex Beswick now dropping down the field
There
as a
comes
result of
Williams
that
again.
one.
And I do think Damon and Kobe are on comms together, so they'll be able to talk to each other. That's going to make it hard there for Will Lowing in third to really mix it up with them when the two of them are talking to each other.
Well, I'm just looking at it and
James
thinking.
Very, very busy.
I'm just looking at it and thinking as well, is perhaps their best defense an offense? Like, if they
Yes.
keep getting aggressive, it just covers the hole. There's no real spot for William Lowing to really go.
Yep.
So in the meantime, they swap positions down the back straight once more. Damon Woods back to the point. And with 24 minutes on the clock, still a heap of time to decide this one. By this point in the sport race, we're under safety car for the first time for the night. And for the pro drivers, they've kept it just a fraction cleaner. And
Don't say a word.
this is an update on Ben Bargwanna as well. Bounced over the curb and into the outside, and that will bend and break off a wheel. In fact, that's destroyed the entire car.
Oh, and it disappeared.
Yeah, and a toe that was not lodged correctly as well.
Yeah, so that'll be a bit of trouble for it.
So it'll be night done for Ben Bargwanna. In the meantime, do you get the feeling Lowing's just playing, he's minding his P's and Q's? Because the other side for Lowing is that if he jumps out of the order, well, Ewan Baker's going to have a go at him. At the moment, Baker's not quite able to stay with it. Jordan Mazzaroli now goes around as well. That chicane's catching everyone out tonight.
And it does in the real world as well. Awkward little pair of corners. So Kobe Williams back to the point, and now Lowing really got pressure on there in third place. And there's that, he's trying to force the issue, but and the two boys to get at the front are really working together. And like you said, offense is the best defense, and I think that's what they're up to. More cars around the runway.
Carnage as well as the 28 machine, which will be Foster.
He's
And-
really busy going the Spade instead.
That was him just calling for a tow as well. So you can hear him on the mic to race control saying, hey guys, there's nothing I can actually do. He's got rear wheels in the air, and safety car has immediately been deployed. So the race will be neutralized at this point in time. They went 2 minutes longer, Dave. And the sport boys did.
That's why they're pros.
So this is going to be a little bit of a drama in the pack, and huge check. And then the run down through the back straight. I think it was the end of the back straight where Foster ended up beached on the curb.
I'd rather watch the replay than cars behind a safety car anyway.
You just see the cars a few ahead of them squabbling for the back end of the top 10. Crest of the hill.
Top. Oh, he's got a bit sideways there. He's okay. Nah, it's too quick on the turn in. Oh.
And that left rear tyre is off
Yep.
the axle as well. And Sam Chapman it was that arrived on the scene and unfortunately found himself with nowhere to go. And for the meantime, that was precisely where James Foster was parked up.
So we've got Lachlan out in the car again. Of course, it has to be forward, doesn't it? Looking fabulous and trying to control that field. Massive hornets behind him. So, but he'll just calmly control the field, and he's given each set specifically. Control the field at that speed. They are madly working those tyres behind, aren't they?
Absolutely, they are. And confirmation the safety car will be in at the end of this lap. And a multitude of incidents are currently under investigation as well, because there's been a fair bit going on. And I wonder if the marshals down at turn 2, turn 3 have been questioned about 5 times about what they saw already.
Yeah, and we've got the fastest lap with Cody Williams, so would be where he managed to put together a double toe maybe on Damon Wood to take the lead. One of those laps. See if Damon can knock that off. One else can take it away from you. I've got a feeling if William Loewen can get past one of these cars, I think he's got the pace to get out the front.
Yeah, potentially. And you just see them all backing up just a little bit.
Yeah, let's see
and
when
looking
they go.
for the opportunity.
We saw a change of lead almost every time we went to a restart and scored.
I wonder whether or not Damon Woods is just going to wait until the last possible moment to go green. I don't think he goes green here. I think he waits.
Yeah, he's sitting.
Let's just check everyone up. If he goes right about here, or just any time from now, he gets the jump. Only he knows. And yep, there he goes.
Gosh.
So he has indeed timed that one very, very late, just so he gets a little bit of a momentum. And William Loewen in behind, not quite close enough to Kobe Williams to provide an assault. Ewan Baker's actually reasonably close to Loewen as well. So it's probably this battle that's worth keeping up an eye on. Burst is going to try and slice it in the inside. We might be 3 wide when they get into turn number 1. Ewan Baker's been escorted to the outside. No contact made, though, for Dylan Burst, who will slide his way on through into 4th spot. Not quite over and done with, and Ewan Baker's now forced to cede the ground.
It was a pretty good clean pass there. Impressed with that. Certainly taking advantage. There's Caleb Dawson. Now he's dressed as test tonight. It's like he's got the security guard uniform. Right.
Yeah, he's
got a great
guarding
sense of
it.
humour.
You got to pass him to get inside into that 18th position. He's a security guard standing in your way.
You got the lock and key.
You will be checked for ID at that door. I can tell you very much. At this point in time, Ewan Baker made a mistake as they went down through turn number 9, crawled all over the curb on the way out. Now it's going to allow Chris Cox down the inside. Cox says not quite going to get the momentum out the other side, which means that Baker's going to get it back. But right now, they've lost the toe to the front 4, and it's going to be a 4-car breakaway at the head of this field. Mendez is making some speed. Cox has got the draft as well. 3 wide on the run down to turn number 1. 17 minutes on the clock. And Mendez slides it down the inside. Baker turns in and makes it a 3-car sandwich.
And you meant sandwich, didn't you?
Yeah. Chris Coxhead has found himself being sliced up like ham at the deli.
I think the problem there was that Ewan way out on wide couldn't see the car on the far inside, thought there was only 2 abreast and expected to leave 1 car with he actually needed to leave 2.
He definitely didn't leave enough space at the apex for 3 cars to get through there.
I don't know if that was really his fault. He was unsighted on that 3rd car.
He's about to get a car in the back end of him as well, and Jordan Mazzarelli's gone for a huge old dive down and boulder wide. So more is kicked off later on in the lap involving Ewan Baker as well. He's had more contact, and after starting the lap in 5th spot, he now ends the lap in 18th spot, and that's the that one wasn't his. There was a car barreled down and just about made contact with his rear bumper, which wasn't Mazzarelli. I think that was Mazzarelli that did end up out in the sand trap though. So in the meantime,
Williams wide again there at turn 1.
and Damon Woods will slot back into P2 at this point in time. Kobe Williams really starting to show his wares this time out. Sandown always prides racing with a few different race leaders in this category.
So it's racing 4 again. So we've got Williams, Woods, Loewen and Burst.
I think the key factor is now going to be that fight for 5th spot, as Caleb Hydes and Matthew Hansford-Taylor sort of swap positions just a little bit, trying to tow each other along. next few cars on the road in behind them. So from Hines in 5th spot, you have Hansford Taylor. Hayden Belt. Chris Mitchell sits 8th on the road, so has improved out of his qualifying performance. Nico Mendes did have contact on that most recent incident, currently in 9th. I wonder how damage affected he is in terms of straight line speed. It looks like Chastanoff is actually starting to close in. So Dylan Gray's made a whole bunch of spots as well. Change to the race lead. Kobe Williams slides it back down the inside with a little bit of toe. And I believe Chastanoff's going to slice it down the inside of Nico Mendes. Ewan Baker's made his way into the lane for some repairs on that car.
Yeah, no fast repairing pro, remember? So, you know, he could be in there for a little bit of a time. Now, Kobe Williams is doing a really nice, neat little job here. He seems to, whenever he lets Woods by, he's able to retake that lead. So I think they might be playing fun and friends now. It's going to be a bit like Lando and Max coming the last few laps.
And there's an issue at the moment for, I believe, Nico Mendes' car is just a fraction off pace, and I mean a fraction, just enough that it's affecting him, but not enough to really be a major issue after that contact. And the problem for Mendes now is he's just barely, ever so slightly outside of the draft range.
Yep.
Oh, he's pulled himself back in. My apologies. He has done the work. He has managed to pull himself back out. Chastanoff is actually defending from Caleb Bellac down the back straightaway. And it's Chastanoff now that's dropped the draft to the cars up ahead of him. And Bellac didn't get a good run off the final corner. Sean Doyle trying to cut his way through has got Cooper Allen going to his inside at this point in time. Cooper Allen made a pit stop earlier on. Fixed some damage on that car.
Wild move across the road there.
And that was deeper in the field as well. Dawson now becomes the security guard in charge of protecting 17th spot, and now he has absolutely barred that door. There will be nobody entering the circuit at turn 4.
He's going to say, why does it always happen when the camera's on me?
Dave Roberts, no. Put the commentator's curse to bed, please. Ewan Baker update from that incident on the restart has just received himself a 5-second penalty for being the car to turn in on that incident. So it was as we called it.
Must have some awfully good luck coming soon because he's not having any up until now.
And this is the run out of the final corner for a number of drivers, including James Chastanoff, who's got Cooper Allen immediately in behind him, and they are defending for all money, covered it all the way to the inside of the road. Bellac's going to go bowling it down the middle. Got a huge draft, and Chastanoff deep on the anchors on the run out of turn 1. Bellac looks for the switchback, 3 wide off the exit of turn 1, backs it back out. Sean Doyle's going to try and sneak through and nick a spot out of this one as well. 2 wide through the chicane. They do just about touch, but they all get out the other side. And that racing for the last spot inside the top 10. Cooper Allen has 10th, and now he might become the next security guard.
That was brilliant. Lowing's got the lead, so he's got past the pair of them. I'd love to see a replay on how that happened. Well done, Will. He got himself into the lead. How did he pull off pass on both of them? It must have been a perfect toe.
So we got the pass done on one of them first, and then it was the second one. So he didn't do 2 and 1 like Kobe Williams did earlier on. He set one up and then got a good exit off of turn 4 and the run down the back straight away to set that one up. That will change things at the front because here now comes Kobe Williams and Damon Woods. Woods is actually hesitating. They're all letting Lowing lead. And there's a car off at turn 1, which is Dyson Freeman's the smoke that you'll see them disappear through. So he goes tumbling down the order.
Now, Will Lowing got a little sideways there, and he will have lost momentum up onto the back straight. Yes, he certainly lost momentum. And here comes Williams. Great pass. He'll probably lose both first and second here. Maybe could be all the way back to 4th with that one little mistake.
Where does Dylan Burst go in this situation? He just plays rear gunner.
So he's lucky he's able to get a little draft for Kobe Williams as he went by and sort of take or reassert himself in the second place over Damon Woods there. So that was lucky for Lowing because that back, really lost the momentum, and you saw how he went from, you know, the front, sliding straight back down past second and third.
And the difficulty for these guys, if they do squabble like that again, there's an opportunity for the next group to sort of bring themselves back into it, which stands for Taylor. That's the tangle that we saw down at turn 4.
Interesting bit of physics.
I can tell you Caleb Hides has just slipped back through to retake 5th spot on the road. As these guys try some drafting strategies to pull themselves further up. And I'll tell you what, they did take a huge chunk on that last lap. It took about 0.6 of a second out of the entire pack, the leaders. So the second pack is coming, and this has all been triggered by William Lowing leading. Shadows towards the middle of the road. Williams is going to draft his way back on by.
Williams got a run here.
Indeed he does, and they'll all slot back in. But the next pack of cars is Hansford Taylor and Caleb Hides working together really, really well.
So
and they've got...
So we've got 2 battle packs of 4 cars in each. Interesting. It seems to be that 4 cars is just the right size to be able to stay neatly in a group. So here comes Lowing again down the inside. So effectively, Williams and Lowing are now doing the Woods what Woods and Williams were doing to Lowing before. So there we go. Lowing back to the front.
And you just get the feeling that they've kind of got to do it at this point in time as well. Did take a little bit of time out of the leaders once again, did Caleb Hides, but it wasn't as much on that most recent lap. However, first sector's been really, really quick for him on this next lap. So I get the feeling they have made some more ground. The problem is Hansford Taylor needs to get a huge draft on his time by.
Williams is very, very quick on that sort of last corner onto the back straight. And again, here we go, the battle over drop, and I think Loving's able to lock back in between the two. But yeah, Williams is very, very quick through that last very, very tight left-hander onto the back straight. He just comes out of there with that extra little bit of momentum. And I think that's probably Loving's a little bit gun-shy there after he had that step out sideways on him a little bit earlier. Not quite got the run onto the front straight, but he's well in the toe, so he should be able to hook that back in, and he may not be in the lead at the end of the straight, but
he might slot all the way back down to 30. He's going to be on the outside when they get down here to turn 1, given a little bit of room by Damon Woods and given the spot back as well. And for all of that, the group behind them took probably another 0.3 of a second out of them on that lap. So the next group is coming.
See, look, there again, Lowing's just dropped that couple of car lengths on that last left-hander. He's got an issue there. The car's a little bit loose on the one. It might be his setup. And here comes Woods up the outside, trying for all that he can find to get by, get back into second where he can challenge for the lead once again, and he's done it this time.
That he has this pack stretched out a fraction on this lap. Will condense once again. Really tight though when they get down to the end of the Dandenong Road, and Lowing just about got contact. It was Dylan Burst that was to his inside. Burst will get checked up a fraction right now. And I can tell you the margin was out over 2.5 seconds. It's now about 1.5 seconds to the pack behind. They are coming with a whole head of steam. That entire pack of 4 cars that sits 5th through 8th on the road. Matthew Hansford Taylor, Caleb Hides, Hayden Veld and Chris Mitchell have done nothing but work together the entire time.
They're not challenging each other. They are just sitting nose to tail and driving as fast as they possibly can.
Well, you said that. And immediately at turn 1, Caleb Hides ran it very, very wide and had a mistake. So they will drop a fraction of time.
I did it again.
Dylan Burst, we're going to get a look at, slides it down the inside to try and have a go at Lowing all over the curb. Just the tiniest little bit of contact, and there's nothing in that. Woo. And now the weaving game starts as well on the back straightaway.
We need a pause button somewhere so I can get a breath here.
Formula Fords, Dave Roberts, you should know this by now.
I know. It's a lot easier when you're driving. Yeah, it feels like 2 minutes. Here it feels like 10 minutes.
Speaking of time, we've got 5 minutes left in the race as well.
There you go.
Three
I don't
safety
think these
cars.
guys are going to catch the guys in front, but they very, very wide there. Finish straight. I don't think they're going to close that gap in 5 laps, but we'll see. William Long takes the fastest lap.
It was that one mistake that changed everything for that trailing pack. Caleb Hyde's made one mistake, and they went from being 1.3, 1.4 seconds off to 2.5 seconds once again. So it was a lot of time. A lot of time. And now they've got to do a lot of work if they're going to get there. But the fighting coming off in turn 4 has already started the pack up ahead of them, which means that there is another opportunity. And with 4 minutes on the clock, I think we're going to get 3 more laps out of this race, which means they might get there. On the final lap, Dylan Burst tries to go down the inside, and Lowing's not really trying to give him much space. They're running out of time to get this done. He drifts a touch wide. They nearly make contact with that pack up ahead, and Burst through the grass. Pulls it up. Does just about.
They're not giving an inch. They are not giving an inch because they know if they do, they've not got time to get those places back.
And how do you feel being William Lowing as well? Because he's got 3 cars working together around him, and all he wants to do is just hang on to a podium. He'd love a race win, but I get the feeling he recognises it's not the
podium.
car.
I promise you.
Yeah, yeah.
He's just trying to work out how to do it because it's a pretty impenetrable force in front of him. So he's got to get that run onto the back straight. That's his Achilles heel at the moment. Is that last left-hander onto the back straight.
And this is what it looked like on the run down through Dandenong. Boy, they got so close together. There's millimetres in that. How good are race car drivers at using every millimetre available to them?
See, Lowing's dropped back again out of that last corner. It's his Achilles heel. The way that the car set up, something about it just not working out of that slow left-hander. Now he's lost. Oh, this time it's around the outside. Exactly the opposite positions, and he's lost that 3rd place. So Dylan Burst managed to pull that off. He tried inside over the top last time. He went round the outside this time. So he's trying everything. And they gave each other room again. So.
Well, there'll be 2 more laps left to run as they come out of the final corner. There won't be enough time for a 3rd. So 2 laps left of Sandown International Motor Raceway.
Australia's hang on to this.
Home of horsepower.
He's got Damon Wood sitting in the back, and Damon is as smart as they come, and now he's in the lead. So this will be from here a strategy on who can lead, who's prepared to lead onto that last lap.
Indeed it will, and will leading up the back straight be enough? And that second pack has now run out of time. They will not make it unless there's a whole bunch of biff and bards goes on up ahead. So your battle for your race lead now becomes a 4-way stoush with no opportunity for any more takers to buy into this one. Who's going to finish on the podium? Who's going to finish best of the rest? And what can Lowing do about it? Lowing's got an opportunity, got covered off, got the block, came out from Dylan Burst. Now Burst is going to run wide at the crest of the hill. Lowing might just have a crack at him. Oh, he's looking for it. He was absolutely looking for it. Contact was made. They all get out the other side just. And he was looking for a switchback, and Burst blocked it. Absolutely blocked it. Now you get the feeling it might only be a 2-car race for the win. And Kobe Williams leads us out of the final corner. There is going to be 3.1 kilometres, 13 more turns of Formula Ford Australia E-Series racing action from Sandown Motorways Raceway. Pick it, Dave. Give you a bet. Who have you got your money on?
I like Kobe Williams because of the speed he's able to take out of that very, very last corner onto the back straight. But can he hold that all the way up to the top? I'm not sure. And Burst is still there. He's right back in it.
And Lowing's
just anybody. He has to run. Kobe's got a great look at the drive out of that last corner from Kobe Williams again.
Yep,
Come on, Kobe, you can do this.
Onto the back straight away. as they run through the gears in the 4-speed box of the Formula Ford. Williams has made his bet. It's the inside of the road. He forces Damon Woods to go the long way round. Now he's going to cover the middle of the road because he got first to go around the outside. Woods gets to the race lead. There won't be enough time, so he's got to fire it down the inside here, but he had to cover Dylan Burse as well, and Woods picked the strategy. It was a master stroke. Had to get good drive, but he timed his run, and Damon Woods has been supreme in this series. We've seen two drivers dominate in each of the respective classes. Oh, and now Dylan Burse is not necessarily going to make the finish. Huge contact with Lowing out of the final corner. Lowing's going to get back and steal P3.
Oh, I'd like to see what went on there in that last corner between third and fourth. But well done to Damon. Brilliant. You know, it doesn't matter who leads every lap of it's only the last lap. The last out of the last corner on the last lap, that's the only one that counts.
Well, Damon Woods wins another one from Sandown. And the teammates all get down there to enjoy with him. It's going to be Damon Woods from Kobe Williams. The final few cars are trickling over the line as we speak. 17th and 18th has just gone by the line, and the replay of what happened from the final corner is Dylan Burse having a go. He went, I'm going to have a crack at this one, and in 2 days.
He's almost lost it, so it was nothing to do with Lowing. That was Dylan Burse all himself. Just oh, and then he's wow. That was scary.
Yeah, they all managed to get out the other side though, and that's the big key. And Lowing will sneak through to take P3 on the racetrack from Dylan Burse. Matthew Hansford Taylor home in 5th. Caleb Hydes, Hayden Veld home in 7th. 8th will be Chris Mitchell. Nico Mendes, after what we thought might have been damaged, it's home in 9th. And Cooper Allen will round out your top 10. And they'll pop up on screen here in a moment as well.
And if you think this was crazy, I can't wait to see these guys around Lebanon next week, Scott.
And I just heard somebody say in the background as well, there might be a few drops of of rain lurking in the air from France's entry-level racing circuit. So Damon Woods will win this one from Kobe Williams. William Lowing manages to make his way back onto the podium from Dylan Burse. Hansford Taylor home in 5th. That pack, they tried to run down the leaders. They ran out of time. Caleb Hydes and Hayden Veld 6th and 7th. Chris Mitchell, another strong finish in 8th. Nico Mendes home in 9th from Cooper Allen in 10th. Rounds out your top 10. Caleb Bellack will get home in 11th and a clean finish for him from James Chastanuff. Callum Newton home in 13th. Sean Doyle from Matt Ciroli, who had a little bit of drama, or just about everyone this far back did. Alex Beswick home in 16th from Dylan Gray, who did climb a number of spots. Ben Miles, Ewan Baker will have 5-second penalty added to his post-race time. Won't affect his finishing position. Caleb Dawson will be off of the lead lap in 20th, and from here on out we get into the retirements. 21st, Chase Saxill didn't make the end of the race here tonight, unfortunately, for the youngster. Dyson Freeman in 7 laps down. Coxhead and Brody Shepherd both at 10 laps down. Coxhead had a good run at one point during that race. Sam Chapman from James Foster, Seth Brown, Ben Bargwana, and Seth Burchard round out your 29 drivers that took to the racing circuit tonight. Time for podium interviews. As we get ready to celebrate in style, we'll work our way from the back end of the podium to the front. Time to talk to our driver out of 3rd place here tonight, William Lowing. That was tricky. You got the feeling that you were getting a little bit boxed in with 3 guys all working together there.
Yeah, it was a good race either way, though. I got a bit of wheel damage on that second last lap, but I got lucky at the end.
Mate, in terms of things, very, very tough. You challenged extremely well in one period of that race. I think the big key was getting yourself to 2nd place. You got there, and then we noticed you were having a lot of trouble with getting drive off of turn 4. Was it just not enough weight over the rear end as the fuel burned out?
Yeah, I think I had the wrong gears in it, so my first gear was a little bit too short compared to the other guys, so they were getting the run on me out of there.
Mate, in terms of things, Formula Ford Australia, the racing's been intense, particularly at the front end of this one. It's, next round we're going to be heading off to Lebanon, and there was some discussion there might be some rain in the air. Have you done many laps at Lebanon, and better yet, have you done it in the rain?
None in the rain yet, but I've done a few laps over the past week. It's a pretty tricky track, so it should be some good racing.
A tough, tricky, and technical from Lebanon. Ladies and gentlemen, William Lowing finishes on P3. William Lowing, the people that get it done for you are...
I'd like to thank FRG, Formula Ford Australia, putting on this great initiative. It's great fun, awesome spectacle. But yeah, thank you all.
Mate, thank you once again for delighting the audience as well with the driving up in the front end of the pack tonight. P3, mate. Congratulations.
Nice, thank you.
We will take one step further forward in terms of your podium finishes. The driver who finishes in second place led a whole bunch of laps here tonight. Kobe Williams, Draft City out there at Sandown Motor Raceway. Timing the run, setting yourself up. Not easy to do, and it looks like Damon Wood's bested you. I got the feeling he wanted you to lead onto that final lap.
Yeah, no, that was a really good race. I enjoyed that quite a lot. It was sucked I couldn't get there in the end, but overall it was an enjoyable race. Super respectful, so good in the end.
How good is it having a four-way fight at the top end of things in the Formula Fords, where you play those draft games of time you run, put it in the right spot at the right time? It just adds an extra something to the race when you can't just be the fastest guy out there. You've also got to be smart about it.
Yeah, certainly. You kind of just got to play your battles and just go with it. And if he wants to lead, just let him go and then pass him back the next straight. It was just switch each straight, so it just ended up being a battle to the end.
Mate, in terms of things, next time out we'll be heading to a very tough technical circuit out of France by the name of Lebanon. How is the comfort levels heading into that one? Because there's a lot of technical corners there.
I have not driven that track yet.
Oh,
So
I think you need
I am
to.
going to look forward to doing some laps, I think.
Good news for you, it's added to the free content for iRacing as well. It is going to test you, and the biggest thing is looking for braking markers. I think you're in for a world of hurt. Kobe Williams, who gets it done for you here tonight?
Just a thanks to all the Eclipse SimSpots dudes who have been working hard with the setups. My real world sponsors, ACMF Finance and Cichlids.
Mate, thank you very much for your time. Get out there, turn some laps, and I get the feeling I might see you in a NASCAR again later on tonight. You seem to enjoy those things as well, yeah?
Yeah, good fun.
Enjoy yourself, Kobe. Good to see you out again once again,
Thanks,
mate.
guys. Thanks.
The reason I made that joke, Dave, I've been turning laps in a NASCAR truck with Kobe Williams this week. It's actually been really fun. Yeah, there you go. So a little bit of a backstory behind that one. And finally, tonight's racing winner is going to be Mr. Consistent, Mr. Pace, Mr. On Top of the World at the home of horsepower here in Victoria. Damon Woods, another race win, mate. You are in a supreme vein of form at the moment.
That one did not come easy. That was a pretty hard fought battle with Kobe, Will, and Bruce then. So, yeah, that was awesome fun. Dylan half spinning it at the second last corner cracked me up. So that was pretty funny. But yeah, the racing was close, and yeah, we were able to come out on top once again.
Mate, obviously three guys all working together in one team, but William didn't let you guys have it by any stretch of the imagination through there. Had to get smart with it. It was just setting everything up, timing your runs. It's tough and tricky. Sandown always produces racing like that when it's respectful, though.
Yeah, we had to really think about how we're going to try and play that at the end there. So, yeah, once Kobe got to the front, and then, yeah, I tried to go past Will without any draft from Kobe, and it didn't work. So, yeah, I came up with the idea, well, if you can move over in quick enough that I can grab some tow from you and then try and send it across the top, yeah, it was the best way of doing it. And yeah, Dylan did the exact same thing, and yeah, we were able to get top 3 Eclipse, but yeah, it was a lot of work to try and pull that off.
In terms of things, it's got to be millimeter perfect when you've got 4 covers covered by that. You know, and the respect that's shown not only between the teammates as well. Will really showed it back to you guys as well. The phenomenal racing and the level of racecraft across the top 4 was awesome.
Yeah, we were millimeters away from each other the entire race. You know, it was handy having Kobe and Dylan in comms just to talk and communicate what moves we're going to do. But yeah, Will did an awesome job to really stick it with us and yeah, keep it clean the entire time.
And finally, mate, next time out we're going to be heading to Lebanon. How's the experience levels at that track? It is probably one of the more technical rookie entry level tracks that we actually have available to us here on iRacing.
Yeah, I've done some laps, and yeah, it's brain fried me a couple times, so it'll be interesting to see how we go. So I might have to put some more laps in, and yeah, if weather decides to turn an eye on us, then yeah, some wet laps will be required. But hopefully we can repeat what we did at Winton and get to the front and pull away.
Mate, finally, the floor is all yours to thank the sponsors to get it done for you.
Yeah, I got to thank my real world sponsors, Apex Steel and Aviation Component Services, the Eclipse boys for all their support, and yeah, big shout out to Dylan Burst for completely ruining the top 3 on the second last corner. Sorry. So yeah, big shout out to Bruce then.
Never let him get away with it. You will remember that one forever and a day.
Oh, well and truly. He's not going to forget about that one, that's for sure.
Ladies and gentlemen, Damon Woods, tonight's race winner, mate. Thank you very much.
Thanks, boys. Have a good one.
And that is going to wrap us up here from the southern side of the country, Dave Roberts. We jump from the sunny Victoria. I've never heard of that before.
You're dreaming.
All the way up to the northern hemisphere, and we're going to head all the way over to Europe. Circuit de Lebanon. It's got some rise, it's got some fall to it. It's got a triple apexed corner. It is tough, it's technical, you've got to carry speed, you've got to carry the brakes, and there are corners where running the outside line could actually be the faster line if you get it hooked up at the right point in time. It's going to be a tricky one. It's going to challenge the drivers, Dave.
It reminds me of a motocross track for race cars. With the ups, the downs, there's almost jumps in it when you come over some of those crests. Fabulous place. And so many where you're coming up and you've got to turn in without seeing anything and hope you got the apex right. I think that's going to be hard to do in a pack.
And I think one of the bigger keys here, Dave, as well, is it's got gravel traps that are about the perfect amount of space off there. Just close enough to be punishing, but not so close that if you've missed it by a millimetre, you're in the fence.
Yeah, a pack of 30 Formula Ford races going at that place, going to be chaos.
Well, if you want to experience that, you're going to have to be back here next week. If you want to be a part of the series, though, Formula Ford Australia runs open qualifying. The guys that you've just seen racing in the Formula Ford Australia Pro Series, those positions have already been decided. Those 30 positions have already been seeded in. However, you saw all the fun that the Formula Ford Sport drivers could have. We've got drivers from up and down from all different walks of life, even drivers out there with disabilities. So just because you think when you watch that sim along at home, maybe I necessarily can't get involved. Sim racing is for all. If you want to join along
next week,
jump along to qualifying. Qualifying will be held on Sunday night. I tell you what, I've actually got some free time this week, David. I will finally get to join myself for qualifying night, and I feel good because I've got pace at Lebanon as well. So I might try and get myself in.
And, so are you're not joining me next Monday? Will I have someone else and we can both spend the whole night taking the piss out of you instead, Scott?
Well, the thing is, I've got to make it to the end of lap 1, and that's always the drama. The qualifying might go well, but we'll see about that one. Your live standings in terms of your championship points, though, Damon Woods now leads the way by 26 points.
Look at that lead.
Kobe Williams. It's more than one race win, so he can now afford to miss around and will still lead the way. William Lowing sits in second place, 10 points off. Sits in third place, 10 points off of Kobe Williams. Dylan Burst a little bit further back. Andrew Gilliam missed a race here tonight, still sits in 5th place. A lot of points on the table for him. Caleb Hyde's only 1 point further back from the no longer Vermilion Motorsports driver. That is now for Andrew Gilliam at Lobs Esports outfit. Eclipse SimSports dominate just about most of the positions inside the top 10. Hayden Veld from Jordan Mazzarelli and the youngster all the way back inside the top 10 on 13 points. Can he find a way to score some more next week? Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a pleasure to bring you another event on behalf of Formula Ford Racing Australia. On behalf of all the Formula Ford sponsors, on behalf of the Formula Racing Group, on behalf of SimSpeed, Dave Roberts, Scott Rankin, which is myself, and Jay Kennedy behind the scenes pressing all the buttons. Thank you for joining us for another Formula Ford Australia round, and we'll see you again next Monday night when we go racing from the hills of France.